We're getting started, everyone. Greetings. Thank you for joining us. I'm here I'm Allison Jones Turner from Source Booksellers in Detroit, and we are very excited tonight to host Lauren Speed Hamilton and Cameron Hamilton in conversation with Jessie Woo. And our bookstore here has been keeping up with the Love is Blind series. And so we're very excited to learn even more at this launch of Leap of Faith.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much. Yeah, we're really excited to be a part, and thanks again to Source Booksellers for having us. I mean, it's really an honor, and we're thankful we could go to that store in Detroit recently and actually spend some time there. So
yeah, that's my hometown. So shout out to them. I'm so excited that they could be here with us, especially for our first stop. It's always great to be connected with Detroit.
Absolutely.
And so, super happy about that. And yeah, we appreciate that. And we got my girl Jessie.
The famous
Jessie.
Jessie.
You. Listen, I'm so excited to be here. Like, first of all, anybody who who followed me on social media during Love is Blind knew that I was a fan. I was like, oh my God, I got dressed for y'all wedding. I got dressed for y'all wedding. I had my all white on.
We appreciate it.
Listen, y'all know I was addicted to the show, and immediately I was just like, okay, I don't know what everybody else got going on, but Lauren and Cameron, yes, inject them into my veins. I need that.
That's why we were like, you are the perfect moderator for this.
Absolutely.
Because the connection is already there.
Right.
Yes.
You love us, we love you, so it's perfect. It's the perfect.
I still go back and watch those reviews you did of the show. Because they're just so entertaining.
But it's so funny because everybody's like, you're so entertaining, but I'm like, no, the show was so entertaining. And I feel like it was entertaining to me because like many people, dating is just so hard.
Yeah,
dating sucks.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
To see how you guys went through this experience, how it was streamlined, and how you guys just naturally found each other, I was really, really inspired by that. And I think just it inspired millions of people, millions and millions, especially women. Cameron, you're a guy, so I feel like the dating world is, we're gonna get into all that, but I feel like the dating world the dating world favors men, I feel like, because you guys are outnumbered, you guys have so many pickings, and for women it's just it's like playing chess almost. So it's so hard.
It's hard out there.
Well, men have their own challenges too, and like you said, we can get into that, but it's definitely hard for everyone.
I saw a meme that said the dating pool has pee in it.
It do. It do.
I believe it.
Somebody peed in the pool, and there's not enough Clorox in the
Chlorine.
But hopefully, by us sharing some of the stuff that's in this book, that it'll help people, some of the gems and jewels that we learned along the way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That was our motivation for wanting to write it too, was to really impart, because we had so many people reaching out saying my dating life is really trash. Yeah. What can you tell us about how you were able to do this? So that's really one of the main reasons why we wrote the book.
Yes, I So let's just jump right on in. First of all, I'm on the couch, honey. I'm on the couch.
I know.
see.
Right?
You're in the
How did you
pods.
get in the pods? I didn't even know that.
I got the pod.
You're
I'm in the pod.
pods.
Yes.
Man.
Look, it's very comfortable in here.
It is cold.
I took a leap of faith, like the book. First of all,
Yes.
Leap of Faith. When does Leap of Faith come out, and where can everybody get it?
So Leap of Faith is out June 15th, which is
Just
today.
today.
If you're watching
Oh!
this, hopefully you've already ordered yours or it's on the way or you have it in hand. We're super excited. This has been such a labor of love for
Absolutely.
Cam and I. It took us, about 9 months to a year to write this book.
Mhm.
So, and it's been tough. You know, it hasn't been easy. It's been difficult, but we are super excited that it's finally out. We finally get to talk about it. All the tea that's because it is some tea. Okay.
There's definitely some tea spilled. And where you should
I
buy the
love
book
tea.
is Source Booksellers.
Right.
Okay.
That's your
Okay.
first stop.
Yeah.
After that, there's other options, but your first stop should be Source Booksellers.
That's right.
Perfect. So it took you guys 9 months to write this book. So does that mean that while we were watching you guys on television make your connection, you guys were going into the writing process of this, or have you guys already started by then?
It was actually pretty close. I would
Yeah.
say as the show was airing, I think that we kind of started writing soon after.
Yeah, a couple months after it started airing. But Lauren and I had already been discussing writing a book even I mean, it was maybe like 6 months after we got married. We were like, man, we should really just sort of jot down some of the things we got out of this experience, because there was no saying what was going to be shown on the show. And in fact, they left out a lot of what was really important for us, a lot of moments, events that happened, and just the takeaways that we had from it.
Yeah, and I think that just the fact that our personal stories are so, I guess, unconventional and different. And it's the type of thing where it's like, you know what, we need to put this in a book. Like, we have to share this, the things that we've learned, the things that we've experienced, not just through Live, because of course that's how everyone was introduced to us,
Right.
you know, but it's like so much more to our story and who we are and kind of what led up to us even getting in the mindset of going on a show like, you know, Live. Love is Blind, for those who don't know. Some people might be like, Live. Love is Blind. That's the, you know, abbreviation that we use. So, but yeah, so we're, you know, it's just a lot more to us than I think that people know and that we want to share. So that's kind of how Leap of Faith came about.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about what people should know about you guys. Obviously, I mean, we know that you guys are madly in love, child. And that you guys met on Love is Blind, and you guys have Leap of Faith coming out. But can you tell me where you guys come from? Like, what was your career? What is your background? So that people understand more of who you guys are.
Absolutely. I mean, we definitely, of course, we dive deeper into that in the book, but I think just kind of a quick general synopsis, I said it right, of who I am, you know, before the show. You know, as the show titled me as content creator, which is so like general, but you know, I've always been into creating and storytelling, which is another reason why I'm excited that we got to write this book, because it's just in my nature to talk and share stories and do things like that. But you know, my dating life sucked, Jessie. I was with you in that pool, you know, dating. Okay, it was bad, girl. It was bad. So, you know, I was really struggling. I was struggling to find love. I was struggling to just be happy with myself in a lot of different ways, whether it was career or relationships. And, you know, I really was in a dark point in my life. I would say like about a year before I went on to Live, which I talk about more in the book. But I really had to go through kind of like a self journey to really prepare myself to even be open for love, to go on this crazy experience that is Live and Love is Blind. So, you know, it was definitely a full journey for me.
Absolutely. It really wasn't an accident that we were able to form this connection, because Lauren and I both had these dating experiences in the past where we failed. We had a relationship, it didn't work out. And I think for both of us, what I observed, even reading Lauren's part, was that we both had learned from our past dating failures, and we put that into the book, sometimes in some very excruciating detail in a sense. So wanted to do that so that the reader can like take something away, so that they can relate it to their own lives and be like, okay, maybe I am ready to take that leap of faith and think about certain things before you go on the next date.
Right.
So,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, even to piggyback off what Cam said, I think that, you know, I always say this, that people learn more from a testimony than a highlight reel. You know, and I feel like so many people see us and they're like, oh, you guys,
hallelujah.
You know, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yes, God. I felt
That's the truth. So, you know, I feel like so many people see me and Cam and they're like, oh, it's this fairy tale and you guys are so perfect and this and that. And it's like, nothing in this world is perfect, y'all. And even, you know, being where we are now in a healthy, beautiful, flourishing relationship, we had to go through hella thorns before we got there. So I'm very big into astrology. Like, I mean, let me not say very, very big, but I feel like I'm into that. I'm a Cancer, and when I saw that Cameron was a Cancer, I was like, oh, she got a good one. She got her good man. Savannah, that's a good man, Savannah. That's a good man, Savannah. What is your sign, Lauren? And women were just not receptive to that?
I think that's a good question. There was a lot of variation, but yeah, there were a lot of cases where I was being vulnerable, showing my emotions, very forthright, and I found some women were just not able to, they were kind of confused by it, put off by it, weren't receptive to it in general. Some, you know, some were more understanding, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't having super success. I wasn't finding a right match for me out there. So I think when people experience that, the tendency is to try to like withdraw and not be so vulnerable and not put their emotions out there. But I think you kind of have to fight that feeling, because ultimately being open and vulnerable and really sharing yourself is basically the only way to really connect.
And I asked you that because I'm a Cancer, and I feel that I'm very led by emotion. Like what my emotions really rule me, and sometimes I have to find balance. But then also I feel like a lot of people just aren't receptive to that, and that's crazy to me, because everybody looking for love, but it's like, you don't want to, you don't want to receive the love. And I feel as a Black woman, and I'm going to go to Lauren, as a Black woman, sometimes too, we're so protective over ourselves. And so we have this shield, so we have difficulty receiving the love because of that too. So do you feel that, Lauren, you were in a place where you're like, you know what, I'm going to receive it? Because there was a moment in the show where Cameron was on the couch, was in the pod, and I feel like Cameron told you he loved you first. Okay, so
Right.
Okay, so what was going through your mind in that moment where you're like, you know what, I'm gonna receive this and I'm gonna claim this love, and I'm not gonna be afraid of that?
Man, Jessie, I've seriously fought it the whole way down to wedding day, just because I feel like, for me, I set up so many, what do you call them when you think that you're protecting?
Walls,
yes. And, just kind of like, I'm not going to let anybody in, because the last time I did that, I ended up hurt, and they always kept hurting me and that type of thing. So I was literally fighting the whole way. I was fighting my own happiness And in the book, I talk a lot about, finding strength and vulnerability. But for me, that was hard. And I really wish that Lib would have showed more of that battle within myself. I think they showed it more towards the end, but I was terrified. Like letting somebody in, letting somebody see my vulnerability, actually trusting somebody was so hard for me, Jessie. And I think that that's what a lot of women, even anybody really in a relationship, is so scary to just, trust people. But what I learned about vulnerability is that a lot of the times that we think that, oh my God, I feel vulnerable, I'm trusting this person to love me. But in fact, I feel like I learned that vulnerability is more about trusting yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do I trust me enough to let this person in and still be all right with me if it doesn't work out? Like, I'll be good, instead of giving the other person all the power. Like, I'm vulnerable, they're gonna hurt me. Like, I still got me at the end of the day, even if I'm vulnerable.
That's
I love
a good
me.
one.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. And I think that's one of the fundamental misunderstandings is people think being vulnerable, sharing in this way, being open is a weakness. But if you're able to do that, and even if the person rejects you, you still have confidence in yourself, then that's really one of the ultimate strengths, to have that, and to keep going, persevere, and have enough self-confidence to not be too affected by that.
It's hard though.
It is. It's so hard. I feel like just my experience just in life in general, it's just been really, really hard, because I feel like as a Black girl, I'm so headstrong, and I'm so like, everything is strong. I'm a strong Black woman. I'm a strong Black.
Right.
And then it's like, then I feel like recently I was just telling somebody, I was like, I don't want to be a strong Black woman anymore. I want to be vulnerable.
It's tired of being strong.
Like, I want to be vulnerable. I want to be soft. And I want someone to accept that from me, but also know that even in my softness, there's strength there. Do you feel that you see that in Lauren Cameron? Like, she's a strong woman, she is focused, but yet do you feel an obligation to treat her like the delicate flower that she is?
I mean, Lauren is absolutely strong, and I really admire her strength, fortitude, persevering through a lot of challenges that we've already had in our lives together. But she does have a softer side as well. I mean, she's very feminine in the best ways. So I mean, I think one of the big things is people are so one-dimensional or two-dimensional, and they're thinking about relationships and men and women. And women can be strong, and they can also be feminine and vulnerable. Men can be vulnerable and strong and masculine. In the foot with these very narrow conceptions of things, where men think they can't be vulnerable because they think that's weak, but we just talked about, that's not, that the opposite is true. And I think a lot of it is just inner conflict, where you don't have confidence in the things that you're kind of scared to talk about, the things that make you feel vulnerable. So
that's a good point, baby.
Yeah.
I think also too, Jessie, like for the Black community, I think for men, sometimes showing emotions is viewed as weak.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody see you cry. Like, no, men don't do that. Like, that's weak. And I think that it's really sad sometimes, because I feel like sometimes you have to learn when to be a lion and when to be a lamb. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to be a lion all the time. Sometimes it's healthy to show emotions and let people know that you love them, or that you're moved by emotions. So that was one thing, like with Cam, that I really appreciated. Like, he wasn't afraid to show me his emotions and be vulnerable with me. So I had never really experienced that, especially in a relationship before. So that was another thing that was like, yes.
Yeah. And I would say lions can cry. There's nothing wrong with that.
I was gonna get to that too. There were moments where you cried, Cameron, and I feel that just men in general, not just Black men, but just men in general, what message do you think that sends to men when they do see a man, emotional about his feelings and emotional about where he's at. Like, what do you think? What's the message that that sends?
Yeah, I hope that men do see it. Thing to do. You know, when I was younger, I used to try to bury those feelings when I had them. But at a certain point, I realized, you know, like, what do I really have to conceal? And if someone has a problem with it, then that's really too bad for them, because, you know, I know who I am and I really have nothing to hide about who I am, you know.
And it's all in the book.
Amen. Amen. Well, let's touch on, so you guys are going through this show, and you guys mentioned earlier that you had experiences prior. What are some lessons that you learned in prior relationships that you said, you know what, I'm not going to take this into this new relationship?
Because there was a lot of things that taught me, you know, what I did not want in a relationship. But I feel like, in a way, it's funny how when you go through things and you're like, man, this is hell. Like, I hate that I'm in a situation, but I feel like we have to take those, what we view as losses, and really turn them into lessons. Because if I wouldn't have went through those terrible things, I wouldn't know what it means to be in a healthy relationship with someone that appreciates me and just be happy. So, yeah, like I said, that's a long list. But I think the most important thing is that I learned what I did not want in a relationship, and I learned how I do not want to feel in a relationship. And you know, in any dating situation or moving forward, like, if I got that feeling that I had in previous relationships that didn't make me feel good, it made me feel like it was adding to me and growing me as a person, I was like, nah, I'm not going back there. So listen to your heart and your gut and your mind. And, you know.
Yeah, and it's okay to set the bar high. I think that's a related lesson that I took away. You know, you don't want to settle for someone who's not a right match for you, and you're not a right match for them. You do have to, it can help to even literally write down.
I was going to say that.
Do you have a list, Jessie? Have you wrote down a list of?
You know, I wrote a list years ago, but I feel like it's time for me to write that list over, because you know what? I feel that I'm not the same person I was last year.
Right.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, you grow. I do feel like you should revise your list. Do you guys feel that y'all matched each other's list? Have y'all ever shared your list with each other?
Oh yeah. Well, first of all, they're in the book, the list. But we've talked about qualities that we, even in the pods, we talked about, like, what we were looking for in a partner. And I think it was pretty clear to us, even in the beginning, that, you know, we really matched up with what we were looking for. I mean, it was frankly surreal how well we paired, even in those early dates, I think.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I think that, like you said, Jessie, there was some things on my list that I realized, like, girl, I think you grew out of this. Or as you get older and you just kind of evolve as a person, it's just like, I evolved away from this idea or this thought. And I feel like the more that you live, the more that you experience, you just kind of, you know, your wants and needs kind of, you know, evolve with that. So I would say my list definitely started off one way and kind of grew into something that I didn't think. Like, I prioritized things that I realized were more important to me. So,
what are some things, or even just one thing, that as you guys have just grown with each other, has surprised you about the other person in a great way?
In a great way. I would say for Lauren, she's just very, very consistent, which I think is, it's a really good strength to have, because it enables me to trust her, you know, full-heartedly. You know, I never have to worry about certain things because she is so consistent.
Oh, I think that's good.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I mean, this isn't to say that she doesn't surprise me in positive ways, or, you know, I learn new things about her all the time, but just in the way that she is fundamentally, she's very consistent.
Oh, thank you, baby. I think for me, I think that Cam, man, what have you surprised me with? I think that really just his kind of piggybacking off of that, his loyalty and just his love. He has a selfless kind of quality about him. He's been very loving of my family and my father, and just seeing them to connect and, you know, just really just becoming family. I don't know that that's a surprise. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. But, you know, it's just been a beautiful thing to watch flourish and grow. And that's been the most beautiful surprise of all of it. Just how well that we mesh as a family and how loving he is. How loving. Don't make me. So.
Well, it happens sometimes.
What about your families? I mean, I know they probably looked at y'all like y'all were crazy when y'all said y'all was gonna take this leap of faith and go on this show and get married. Like, but how have your families, you know, just grown with you guys on this journey? Like, are they supportive? You know, like, how do they feel about all of this?
Our families are really proud, I think. I don't even know that they expected all of this to happen so fast and so quickly. I think that they both knew that we were spontaneous and had a lot in us to give the world, you know, not just based off us getting married on a TV show, but just in general, like us contributing to the world, you know, as a creative or as a scientist and a creative. So I think that they're really proud to see the people that we are evolving into and becoming, and not only as individuals, but together and building a family. And I think that they're really proud of that. And, you know, with them being in the book, and, you know, we dedicated our book to our parents.
Yep.
And
that's so
just
sweet.
Yeah. So, you know, just seeing their reaction to that. And, you know, my mom, she's in the process of reading the book. I got to check in with her and see if she finished. But she said so far that she's loving it. And so, you know, for me, it's just like full circle. And I know I'm doing a lot of talking, but just real quick, I got to get this point out. So you know, as a little kid, like, I used to love to read and write. And like I told Cam, when most kids will get rewarded, like, hey, you did good, you got to add your report card, you want to go get a toy or ice cream. Like, my dad would take me to the bookstore, and my prize was a new book. So for me, it's just like full circle, like, you know, writing this book, even having the pictures of our family in there. Like, it's just, it makes me so emotional. It's a beautiful thing.
And that's, I feel like another, like, it's crazy, like, in terms of similarities that we have, because I had a similar experience of getting rewarded with books too. So I think we both early on were instilled in the value of books, because obviously there's so much media today. I mean, now we get this media, but so we both love books. I think our parents are, as Lauren said, are very proud. They definitely did not expect that any of this would happen. You know, they were resistant to us doing this at first, but I think they're proud now to see how it turned out.
Cam and my dad went to like run some errands. They go to a grocery store together one time, and Cam gets recognized all the time. He actually gets recognized more than me. I guess, you know, my hair.
Not true.
But like, he was with my dad, and my dad thought it was so like cool to see all these women like, oh my God, Cameron, I love you. He's not a Karen. Cameron, I love you. And my dad was just like, oh my God, the women were all over Cam, but I had your back though. I was like, Dad, I'm not worried. You know, so I think he gets a kick out of it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. Like, the fact that you guys get recognized everywhere you go. What I love about you guys is I like how you guys have been able to build your platforms and expand your platforms post the show. A lot of people don't know how to do that.
Yes.
And y'all have done such a great job. And I think even the panoramic helped, because the panoramic happened and y'all got online, y'all did the challenges, and you watched the show with everyone, you interacted with everyone. Like, please just share how you guys have been able to master that, because I feel that that really adds to you guys' value, not only as, you know, you guys being on the show, then you have Lauren hosting a dating show as well.
Right.
You know, you guys have this book, Leap of Faith. You know, Cameron is still doing his Scientology. Well, not Scientology.
Not Scientology.
His
no.
science.
Okay.
Yeah. Science
Still
stuff.
he's still a scientist, but then you're also creating content. Like, how have you guys managed to do all that and be so intentional about it?
I think the foundation is the fact that we have figured out how to work together as a team. And that took time to really get good at that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like now we've been married for 2.5 years, but 2 years of really working together in that capacity, we're getting better and better at it. And we both are creatives, you know, we've both been, whether it was writing or doing whatever, theater, video stuff, you know, it's something that we just love to do and create. And like you said, create value. That's where it all boils back down to. So that's been the focus, has just been on what can we create together, because Love is Blind was a, you know, pivotal time in our lives, but, you know, it was the catalyst of a whole slew of events that have followed that. And we're, you know, just continuing to pick up more steam. So yeah. we just love to do it. That's, I think, another part of it.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, with the panoramic and everything, you know, I feel like it really gave us the chance to kind of focus on creating, because we were in the house just like everybody else. Everybody hopped on TikTok and did dances, and it's like, well, we want to do dances too. Like, it's fun.
Yeah.
And I think that, like I said, it gave us a chance to really be creative and exercise that and have fun with it. And, you know, that's just what I do. So I just enjoy doing it. And it's just been a blessing to be able to do it for, you know, myself and my husband and our company and brand, as opposed to, of course, we still work with other companies and brands, but, you know, it's just really been a blessing to continue creating and doing stuff.
And it must be a blessing to do it with your partner, because man, like, everybody is
some challenging times for sure, because we, you know, we don't always see eye to eye creatively, so
but that's the thing, like, nothing's perfect. Everything it requires some type of work. You know what I'm saying? Or it's always going to be struggle somewhere in there, you know. The key is to work through it, or how can we get to an answer or a compromise.
So let's talk about just where we're headed now, you know, with Leap of Faith, right? What are some ways that you guys think that women and men need to take leaps of faith in the dating world, especially right now? You know, we getting vaccinated, we getting waxed, we vaxxed and waxed. Outside is open.
Not vaxxed.
Outside is open. Like, so what are some ways that you guys feel we should all take leaps of faith in the dating world?
Oh man, I mean, there's so many different ways. I mean, whether it's putting yourself out there, but I think that the most important thing is just kind of taking a leap of faith in yourself and being happy with who you are, and being sure that you're ready to move towards a relationship, because a lot of people say they want to be in a relationship until it's time to get in a relationship, you know? So I think that it really requires some self-work first before, you know, hopping into something with somebody else.
That's true. 100%. Yeah. Self-work is so crucial. Reflecting on your past relationships and being honest with yourself about your own failings in those relationships. I mean, every relationship's two-sided. Even if you think your past partner was trash, I mean, you know, there were things that you could have done to improve for sure. You know, I mean, everyone is that way, I think. So, I mean, it could be the case that you were in some relationship where they were just totally abusive and, you know, you were just trying to hang on. But my point is, there's things that you can learn from it, and you mentally have to be in a good spot yourself, because if you're not, and then you get in the next relationship, you have to do all that work on yourself.
Or you start to see a pattern.
At the same time, you're working on the relationship. So yeah, that's big. And then literally even sitting down and writing out kind of like what you're looking for in a partner can help. Maybe even questions. And we again go into this in the book a lot, but questions that you might want to ask a potential partner to really dig deeper into who they are. You know, when you're on a date, sometimes those things elude you. You know, you're
Right.
about what to talk about, and you go to the easy stuff. What are you watching on Netflix or whatever?
Right. Right. I feel like I don't know. As a Cancer, I'm always asking the questions.
Good.
I'm always asking the questions. That's one thing about me, honey.
You gotta ask the questions and listen.
That's true. That's true. Maybe I need to work on my listening.
Could be. Look, we talk about that in the book too. But it has to go both ways, you know.
I think,
Yeah.
Yeah. So also, speaking of just the title of the book, Leap of Faith, does faith play a big part in your relationship? And if it does, what is the part that it plays? And do you think it's important for couples to have some sort of faith in their relationship?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, Jessie, okay.
So.
What's the question?
I told you I'd be asking the question.
Yeah. You got all the questions.
Yes. Well, faith is definitely a huge thing for me. I actually have it tatted on me right here. Faith over fear. And it's funny because throughout the process of being on Live, when I'll be scared, Cam will be like, "Your tattoo."
I
did.
Right.
That's a good one.
But I feel like faith plays such a role in so much of my life and just taking chances in general. You know, whether it's in romance or a career change or, you know, just changes in your life. I feel like you have to step out of your comfort zone and believe in yourself or, you know, God or higher power, whatever it is that you believe.
Yeah.
And, you know, for me, faith is the center of my life. It's gotten me through everything, you know, my relationship with God and praying. And so for me, it's definitely the center. And
yeah, I just related to that. I think there's obviously peaks and valleys in relationships as it is in life in general. And I think as humans, we have a tendency to be short-sighted and see what's happening now as continuing on forever instead of changing over time. So I think it's really important to have faith that, you know, this too shall pass, and that, you know, the difficult times will pass. You know, granted, I mean, you still have to put in the work.
Right.
So you can't just be complacent and do nothing.
Faith without works is dead now.
right.
Yeah. But
believe in the bigger picture, not just the smaller.
Right. Don't be too short-sighted and have faith that, you know, because there can be times where, like, let's say you have a relationship issue that you guys have had this conversation a dozen times.
Right.
Doesn't seem like you're making a ton of progress, but if you can see, okay, not a lot of progress, but maybe we made some incremental progress, having faith that over time you can resolve it.
Yeah, and I feel like everybody kind of needs faith. So everyone needs a cornerstone to believe in something bigger than themselves, right? Because I feel like you need that to get you through. I mean, just period in life. The world can be a tough place, and if you only got you to lean on, sometimes it's a little tough. So yeah, I think that, like you said, with the title Leaps of Faith, it's just basically, you know, us kind of sharing the different times and moments in our lives where we really had to step out of that comfort zone or take a chance, you know, like I said, in love, career, just in general with life stuff. And, you know, it turned out to work for our benefit, but it's like, you never know unless you take that leap of faith.
Right.
So
And related to that too is this notion of, like, sometimes we can get very comfortable in one spot in our life, even though
that's a good one.
Not ideal, right? And we talk a lot of that in the book, especially in the time before we met each other, of like being in these comfortable situations, but not being really happy or fulfilled, and taking the leap of faith that, you know, if I let go of this comfortable certainty, there's something even greater for me in the horizon.
Yeah. But you know what, too? I feel like you should also have faith just in the fact that everything is going to be great. Like, that you're going to have a great relationship, that you're gonna have fun together, that you're gonna grow old together, that you're gonna have success together too, right? Like I feel sometimes faith is so much on what we're gonna get through, like the you know, the sad times. It's like, no, I have faith in the good times, like, because aren't the good times what really keep you around too? Like the good times, they outweigh the bad.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it's self-fulfilling way too.
So Leap of Faith is out today. Y'all are officially authors, okay? Yeah. And we're gonna have faith that y'all gonna be some best-selling authors, okay?
That's
like we're gonna have faith for that. Okay. So what is next for you guys? What do you guys have down the pipeline?
Definitely a lot. I think for us, we are just trying to continue, you know, growing ourselves, our businesses, evolving as individuals, and of course as a couple. I think that the thing about marriage and relationships is that it's constantly evolving, it's constantly growing, and you know, we just want to continue to do that. And I think it's important for us to be contributors in this world. You know, I feel like we don't just want to be. Yeah, you know, we don't just want to be known as those two people that went on that crazy show and fell in love. Like, that's part of what this book is about. It's kind of us using our platform to share more about our journey, who we are, what we've learned, to hopefully inspire people to take leaps of faith and motivate them to be in love or love themselves, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But I think, that's important to me, is to just be more of a contributor in this world, you know, do something with the platform.
Whether that's creating more content that we think really people will get value out of, you know, things that we love doing together, like comedy, or just sharing our journey. And also, you know, we have individual projects too that we're working on. I'm working on AI software for investing to basically educate people about investing, understand businesses using an AI foundation. And Lauren has some projects that are really near to her, documentary style. So we've got a lot planned. Yeah.
Great.
We're gonna be here for a while. So
you're gonna be here to
it. Lord willing, you know, by the grace of God.
By the grace of God,
I feel like we're on a mission. Yeah, we're on a mission, and we feel blessed to be in the position that we are, and we got a lot more coming.
That's that on that. And on that note, y'all, make sure that you guys get Leap of Faith available today. Oh yes,
go get my book.
So cute. Such a cute cover too. Such a cute cover. You guys know I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Jessie Woo, for those who don't know. But I'm really, really excited for both of you guys. I cannot wait to get my hands on the book. I look forward to everything you guys have going on. Thank you so much for sharing your story with all of us.
Thank you. And just real quick, thank you to everybody who's watching this right now, who is supporting us, who grabbed a book, who is here during this virtual event. We appreciate you guys, and your support does not go unnoticed. We're so grateful for you, and we hope that you enjoy the book.
And thanks again to Source Booksellers for hosting us.
Detroit, hey!
You know you gotta get your book.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. I'm Allison Jones-Turner with Source Booksellers. I see that we have some questions in the Q&A, and I also have some questions that were brought to us. And so we're going to ask Lauren and Cameron to come on.
There we are. Hey, everyone.
Hi. Thank you so much once again for everything. Man, today has been so amazing. And once again, thank you so much to you guys for hosting this virtual book event for us. We're so grateful, of course. Once again, my hometown, Detroit. So, you know, it's near and dear to my heart. And yeah, just grateful. Let's get into these questions.
Awesome. Let me tell you really quick my highlights. Your brother came in the store and bought the first hard copy today.
All
Oh.
right.
That was fantastic. And then you were on television, Good Morning America, Live in the D, our little local show.
Yes.
That's fantastic. So we have some questions. Your fans, I want you to know, they're far and wide.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have some that I already have.
Mhm.
And let me just
Smart.
making sure I have everything. So I want to start out with a few that came in early on.
Mhm.
That's okay. We have, I don't know if I'm going to say the name right. Benedicte. And one of the questions was, how do you handle coming from different backgrounds? And in parentheses, it says city, country, Black culture, white culture.
Yeah, I think for us, coming from different backgrounds, of course, whenever you fuse anything that has two different things, it could be difficult at times. But I think for us, we just really try to focus on the things that we have in common. Just because that you come from a different background from someone doesn't mean that you can't find common ground, which is kind of what happened with Cam and I. Sorry, our dog's going crazy. He's excited too. He's excited for the book. It's really like having a child, y'all. But yeah, so I think that, when it when it comes to different backgrounds, we just try to focus on the things that we have alike, find things that you have in common, things that you both enjoy doing. And also it's good to teach each other if you come from different backgrounds. That's a great time to have a learning and teaching moment. Share your cultures with each other, or where you're from, your traditions and all that. It's a great chance to expand your horizon. So don't shy away from it. Enjoy it.
And LaQuisha Mason from Denver, Colorado, she says, if your book is made into a movie, would you rather be acting in it or directing it?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Would you be cast to play you or your spouse?
You know what? I think I would probably want to direct it. Of course, we know our story better than anyone, but I think I would just like to really be behind the scenes and make sure that the story's, told right from a production standpoint for me.
Yeah, it would be odd to be playing yourself in a movie about yourself. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's what I do best is myself. So I guess it would be a great role for me. But yeah, I think the directing would be kind of fun. Yeah.
So Joyce Gonzalez from Orlando, Florida, says she's such a big fan of your love story. And can you tell her a little bit about the writing process? I remember in the interview, you did tell us how long it took.
Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe just a little bit more insight.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing, and maybe one of the most difficult things, was figuring out like the structure, the skeleton of the book, if you will, and really kind of what were our main messages that we wanted to hit home. And I think the biggest one was that we wanted to give people what we learned, what our experience taught us about relationships, marriage, that we found helpful, and make it pragmatic, while also kind of sharing our story and showing people the whole trajectory of our lives, not just the small clip that they saw in Love is Blind. So we sat down and sketched out that skeleton. And then after that, it was, Lauren had a chapter, I had a chapter. So we would just work on our individual chapters and come back together afterwards. And the best part for me was when we finished the book, first couple drafts, and we got to sit down together and read it to each other and discuss. And yeah, it was just such a nice point to be at.
And it was a nice bonding time, just reading to each other. It was. It's great.
Did you have a favorite chapter?
You know what? I feel like all of the chapters to me were equally special because it's all part of the story. So yeah, I can't really say that I have a favorite. I think that they all are a little slice of us and our life and our experience. I was speaking for me. Maybe you have a favorite.
For me, I think it's more so that I have like favorite moments in the different chapters. For example, and I can't even remember the number of the chapter, but I was talking about the first time that we discussed excuse me, in the pods, the possibility of getting engaged and how hard that hit me when I realized the gravity of everything. And then, you know, had this little moment where I went into the gym of the facility and like was pretending to work out to avoid all the cameras. And of course they swarmed because they knew immediately what was going on. It was just something that it was such a special moment to me. It never made it into the show. So I like talking about that in the book.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Let's go to some of the questions in the Q&A. So Cindy says, when you were getting to know people in the pods or online dating, how did you differentiate between, okay, this is a red flag, or maybe they're nervous, or I just don't want to judge too quickly? Are first impressions everything?
Ooh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
You know, I do feel like first impressions are important. Are they everything? It depends on who you're making the impression to. I would say for me, a red flag would I feel like I'm so big on energies. If I'm having a conversation with you and I just feel like, ooh, it's just falling flat, it's just not there, the energy, the vibe, for me, it's just like,
right.
Okay, you know, I don't think anything's here, especially in a situation with something like Love is Blind, you know, we're there specifically to make connections. Mm-hmm. So it's not the type of thing where it's kind of like, oh, maybe I'll just kind of meander with this person a little bit. It's right. Like, no, I'm here to find a husband or a wife. You know, I'm here to really find the person for me. So, you know, I was quick to cut people off in the pods. Okay.
Right. So, and the other technical part of it is like you had a certain amount of dates that you went on every day. So sometimes you inevitably wound up on a date with someone that you didn't necessarily initially connect with, but it's like, what are you going to do? Like, just ignore the person? No, you're going to talk to them and make the best of the time too.
Or take a nap in the pod.
You could do that. Some people did that. Yeah.
I remember there were couches in the pods.
Oh yes. Yeah, super comfortable.
Right.
So, one more question. Will you do more episodes of Hanging with the Hamiltons?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like Lauren and I talked about this today. Like, we want to put our focus back into writing a lot more, like more scripted content. That's what we enjoy making. And I feel like it's going to be better content if we really enjoy what we're making. And that's the stuff that we've had the most fun with. So
yeah, and you know, in addition to us creating our original content, sometimes we just like sharing and documenting the things that we're doing. And you know, we have a ton going on, especially with the book launch and things like that. So there will definitely be more Hanging with the Hamiltons episodes coming up.
Absolutely.
Thalia says, love from your Trinidad family. No question there. Just love them forever.
I love it. We're sending love back to our Trinidad family.
Absolutely. So much love from Trinidad.
Absolutely.
It's appreciated.
Yeah. So sweet. And so Rachel is asking, what has been the most difficult part of quarantine and living together?
I would say for me, the most difficult part of quarantine was, I don't know, I guess just kind of being in the house all the time. And, you know, with Cam, you know, like we talked about in the book and everything, I think, you know, since we work together and live together, it was a whole lot of together, which is fine. You know, we made it past it. So,
still is.
So we're good. Yeah, we're still together, still working every day and everything. But I think that, you know, like for a lot of people, that was a challenge. And, you know, well, we got over the hump.
And related to that is just like Lauren and I both have I feel, strong personalities. We have a certain vision for how we want things to go. That's not always aligned. Sometimes we have creative differences. So, I mean, it took us some time and lots of frustration and eventually coming to a really great place, I feel, where I feel like we really work well together now.
I'll tell you who enjoyed being in the house was Sparks. He was so happy that we were here to play and drive us crazy all day. So it was he had fun.
Yeah.
And Lucky Joy says, "Hi, Cameron and Lauren. Love you guys from the Philippines."
Oh,
Hi,
wow.
that's
Hey,
awesome. Shout out to the Philippines.
shout out.
And then Rachel, as asking, do you think you'd ever write another book? And what would it be about?
Mm,
This one is sort of like memoir.
yeah, right.
Yeah, wow. Well, yeah, if it was a memoir, I guess it would be a continuation of our life and our
Hmm.
story. Hopefully it's like, married for 50 years, the story of working
Right.
together for such a long time.
A modern love story evolved or something.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think that we both discovered that we really enjoy storytelling already, but in this form as a writer and really sharing our stories and creativity in that way was really amazing. So I would love to write another book.
Absolutely.
Whether it's about our life or even fiction, or I know Cam talked about doing a cookbook because he loves to cook. So absolutely.
Yeah, I think the door is wide open. And one thing that this taught me was that someone said Mr. Sparks wants some screen time. It taught me that writing a book is possible. I think it seems like such a far out there idea until you get to do it, and then you're like, wow, this is feasible.
It is hard though.
It is hard.
But it's worth it. It's amazing.
And I think one piece of advice that I picked up from other super successful writers was like, just try to get a little bit at a time and make that a habit that can really make the progress go further. Yeah. Sorry, the dog is.
No, that's fine. Have you seen your book in a bookstore yet?
We have.
Yes, we have. Oh my God.
Like?
It was so surreal just walking in and seeing the actual display, and it's been such an emotional last couple of days, and especially today, just seeing everyone's support and love and all the tags and posts, and even everyone posting their books and sharing. Some people have got the book and they're already done. Like, man, how did you guys finish it so fast? So it's really been such an amazing experience and so rewarding, and we're just grateful.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, we are very grateful because we've got books. And
hey.
And it's hard to see it.
Oh, the sun's coming.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's right. So if you guys are in Detroit, stop by the shop and get a book. Please support
Source.
Support local as well. It's so important to support your local bookstores. And go grab a book, go into the store, hang out with the owners or, the people. You don't come in the store hanging out.
Hold on a second.
I'm just saying, be sure that you support your local bookstore.
Absolutely. It's such a much more fun experience than the cold calculating Amazon experience where you're just clicking around. You look around at other cool books. Maybe you come out with a couple books instead of one.
Absolutely.
Well, I just want to thank you for making our book so extra special with the signed book plates, because it's really hard in pandemics to make all of these things special, and so it really does make selling.
Absolutely.
Thankful we could do that. Yeah.
So I guess what we can say, we're at 8, a little bit after 8. I want to thank everybody for hanging in there with us. So I want to thank Lauren and Cameron for helping promote the event, for being here, for writing this wonderful book, and supporting our bookstore, definitely. And if anyone is looking to get a book, Source Booksellers online has the books, and also we have them in store.
Absolutely. Thank you again. Thank you, so everyone, for tuning in, and we're glad that you guys are enjoying.
Yeah, we
keep
love y'all.
Keep spreading the word. Yeah, keep spreading the word.
Everything. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.